as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, and it's just begun, as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning, yeah, we lay awake in bed. It laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay on forever, we'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running.
Good afternoon. It is 1 minute past 2 p.m. here in the Netherlands, so here is Central European time. And yeah, still coughing a bit, but I'm generally feeling better. So I thought, yes, let's go live. It is one of the Mondays that I would like to go live on. Because this idea is to do it every second Monday. I have to say February is quite uncertain because we are going to help to move my mom-in-law into her new apartment. And yeah, I don't know exactly when that will be, but I do know it will take up quite some time. I'm wearing the In-Lines Alpaca Poncho that I made a while ago. Oh, it's on a line for the center. And it's nice and warm. I decided I need to keep me warm because obviously I need to be a little bit mindful of my health. I have tea with me. I have honey in the tea to also help smoothen the throat a bit. So hopefully I will not cough too much. It has seemed to be a little bit less today, so that is positive, and you might hear it on my voice as well. It's very warm. I literally just made it, so I should probably let it cool down a bit for a while. Yeah, so I hope some more people will pop in and say hello. That would be absolutely nice and a wonderful time. This week, I have Jan Hall coming up, and that is because, well, a part of it is because I'm not home next week, Friday, for the Jan talk, but also I had a birthday offer from hubby, which I just couldn't let go. But that was just like a quick sneak peek on that. Generally, what is that we're going to crochet for a bit today, and I am trying to use up some yarns. And I thought it would be a good idea to progress on the hobby of butterfly migration. Not hobby, huh? Drops. It's a drops design. And let's see. This is where we are right now. And I need to add this skein and this skein, I assume, before finishing up this panel. I need to make 2 equal panels for it. The yarn I'm using is a Drops of Cotton Light, which is a 50% cotton and 50% polyester. It is requesting a 4mm crochet hook, but I'm using a 3.5 because that is the pattern and the hook that matches my gauge. 50 grams, so 1.75 ounces to 105 meters, so 115 yards. So it would be awesome if we could at least see how much of this we could add on. And hello, Helle, and please greet my dad back. He's apparently emptying the rain container because it is raining in Denmark at my parents' place. Here, on the other side, it's actually sunny. Well, sort of sunny. It's windy, cloudy, and sunny. It's cloudy and sunny. It was raining this morning. When I woke up, it sounded really nasty. Like, you know, when you can hear the wind, and then you're like, yeah, doesn't sound nice to be outside in. But luckily, the weather got better, which was nice because I had to go to my physio this morning. And it was dry when I went and it was dry when I got home. So that's nice. So right now, the sun is shining. If you want to share your weather, what you can do is you can type in weather in the chat and then your zip code if you're in a bigger city or a bigger local city or region. For example, I will type in the city of Nijmegen. Nijmegen is not so far from me. It's about 20 minutes by bus. See if Nightbot wants to share the weather in Nijmegen with us. Right now here it is mostly cloudy, which is, well, I see it's blue on the one side and it's cloudy on the other side. With a temperature of 54 degrees Fahrenheit, 12 degrees Celsius, and it's been decently warm today. It's not been super cold. Current humidity is 64%. Sorry about that. So let's see. What I wanted to do is I wanted to go on the dual and then you can see a little bit of what I'm doing. Ideally, I really wanted to get a camera that would like come from my side, but I haven't figured out a good setup for it yet without having to build up a huge amount of things. So I need to consider options for that. But what I want to do is if I switch here, you will still have my lovely face up in the left corner, and then I can move this one down and you can see the supporting feed of my computer and you can see the project I'm working on. Absolutely wonderful. So, yes. My only wonder is, and maybe I should have done that instead, but I didn't. So, the E-hook, the 3.5mm crochet hook here, and this project. And as you can see, this is almost a bit like filet crochet, but not completely, because we do have some chains, etc. But it is this nice pattern. What I'll do once this has reached its length is I'll be blocking this a bit. Then I'll make another panel that's exactly the same. Those two panels will be sewn together and ta-ta, poncho. That's the idea. That's the idea. It needs to be about, I do believe it's 85 centimeters long. I've already have, let's see if I can, I need to find my measurement. There it is. Right now, so it needs to be, I think it's 85 or something like that for my size. And then, so 40 wide, and it's like 41, 42. And then it needs to be 85 long. And my quilt math told me that I probably need to about 4 skeins in one because I already have 2 skeins in. So let's see how far we are. Right now we are at 46, so we need another 40 centimeters. give or take. So it's still quite a bit before we are towards the end. Yeah. So that is what we are gonna be doing today. What I probably should do is I should probably just quickly grab a piece of paper for my nose, because I feel it wants to run a little, which I really hope it's not gonna start doing. Give me 1 second and I'll be right back.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, it is just.
And here I am again. So that was pretty quick. Looking forward to get progress on this. I'm actually just starting a new repeat row. So the main pattern obviously is these center ones. I'm not sure why it's named Butterfly Migration, because for me it's more like flowers. So as you can see, I just started that. And what I need to estimate is I need to make the first ones, which is where we do the. So I have this nice diagram, which is also at the Drops website. I did link to that description box down below. Let's see if I can actually, if I do like that, you will see it. This is the pattern. So basically this is the start of the side. This is the center of the pattern, and this is the end of the pattern, like if you take it row by row. And where I am now is I just completed this section. So I need to get onto this section, which is also this one up here. So the second row of the 8-row repeats is what I'm at right now. So yeah, I do hope that my voice is going to be fine with you guys, because obviously it's not like I've been better. Let's just say that I've been better, but it could be worse. So what I am gonna do is I am turning this one around. Then instead of doing the chains to start off, I actually work in stacked single crochets to replace the chain 3 for a double crochet. It gives me the same height and it makes the border look way neater. That's basically the short version of it. As you can see, my border is quite nice, straight, and that is simply due to me stacking double crochets rather than chaining 3. Then I need to chain 2, which I just did. I need to add in another 2 double crochets, and then it's a bunch of chain time, so give me a moment. So I know, because I've done the repeats a few times, it's also why I'm probably comfortable doing this on the live, because I don't need to constantly look at the pattern. I need to chain 5, and that I need to work into here with a single crochet, and then I need to chain 5 again to enter somewhere on this piece of work. And I think, if I'm not wrong, yeah, I just need to go 3 in, so I'll be fine. Okay, so we'll chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we work in the single crochet here in that space. We chain 5 again, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I need to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then I need to work in my double crochets. So now I just need to pay attention for a moment because I need to work in a space here. So I need to work in 3 more double crochets. So I do need to pay attention to the work because if I don't, I will make mistakes. And this yarn, I have to say, while it is pretty soft to work with, it really does want to split on you. It's very like, let's see if I can actually show this. I need just to see what I'm doing, but it really wants to split up because it's not wanting to seam. But it's not very tightly wound, if that makes sense, and therefore it does want to split. So if you do not pay attention, then suddenly you have a single strand that's been split off. Further than that, it's a fine yarn to crochet with, but you really need to pay a bit attention to what you're doing so it's not splitting on you. So that's pretty much it. And yeah, what's else to say? Monday, I will have the first yarn consumption, so to say, the January summary, how far we got January. Let's see, we are here, so now I need to do chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I need to work in a treble crochet in the chain 2 space here. So then we will get the summary update of how much yarn that I used for crocheting in the month of January. I'm a bit curious. So I hope, of course, that I can get some more yarn use today. That would be nice. At least a skein. Skein more. If we'll manage, that's another story. It's not been, I've not used as much yarn in January as I thought I would. A part of it, so that wanted to split on me. A part of it has to do with the fact that one of the projects I was working on, I frogged back quite a bit. But I have to say, I've also been a bit busy applying for jobs, amongst things. So far not been lucky, which means that from Tuesday next week, I will be officially without income or self-employed or whatever you want to say. And I will have to rely on whatever I make. I'll be fine. I do have a few sources of income, but no, I do no longer have this full-time job, nor will I have the money from the unemployment agency because I only had the rights for 3 months for that. Now I just need to keep track here what I had to do to make sure that I'm actually doing the right thing. Give me a moment. Pattern. Pattern says that I finish and then I do that. Yes, that's correct. Actually says one more. Yeah, that matches. That's correct. It's about keeping track all the time. Sometimes I am wondering if this might be just too complex to do while chit-chatting with you guys. So are you working on anything today? Or are you just popping in because, well, it is morning and you're preparing for your day? Or, yeah, let me know. What are you up to right now? Could also be you're just relaxing, doing nothing. 1, 2, and then 4. So there's a lot of counting in this pattern, but it's quite intimidating. But once you kind of get the gist of it, it's not too bad. Well, that was wrong. Let's redo this. So, because here it's in the center, so I need to chain 5 and do the treble crochet. So let's do that. Let's do that. So Hella says she's currently working on a pair of pot holders. She is knitting them, and if I know her correct, it is probably like a double-sided knit, so you have like a pattern on both sides. So it's like two-side knit thing in one go, which I think is rather impressive. I am not gonna try to attempt doing that at all. Like, I will quite sure probably fail. Well, maybe I wouldn't, but I would definitely need some help first, learning on how to do it if I really wanted to go that direction, but I'm pretty fine with what I'm doing here. Let's see. Then I need to do 3 more double crochets, and then we are heading towards the end of this row. Yep, and then we are back to all the chains. So what we are gonna do now is we are chaining 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the yarn splits on me again. Again, 4, 5. Then we work in the chain space with a single crochet. We chain 5 again. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we go over here where we have the double crochets from the previous row. We do 2 double crochets in the 2 following stitches, chain 2, and then in the last 2 double crochets we also do a double crochet in each stitch, and then that's the row complete. And that would be the second repeating row for the majority of this pattern. And then we will turn our work to start on the 3rd row. So here we go. And I need to turn my crochet hook with it. And I probably should have taken my yarn holder over there. Maybe that would have gone better. So that is where I do the stacked single crochets because it gives this so very nice border. So I will keep doing that here. And since this end and beginning of every row is the same, which is 2 double crochets, chain 2, do double crochets, then that part is easy. Then for the start of the 3rd row, we will have to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, which we'll have to work into that chain 5 space with a single crochet. We chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is then worked into the next chain space. And then I need to see we are on the 3rd repeating row, which means I need to chain 5 again. 2, 3, 4, 5, And then I need to skip 3 stitches, 3 double crochet stitches, and work in a double crochet. Then I need to work in 2 double crochet around the chain space from the previous row. And then I need to work in 1 more double crochet in the next stitch, which gives 4 in total. And then, my friends, I am going to chain 7. 1, 2, oh no, it's 5 first. 3, 4, 5. 7 is first, the next row. Then I need to work in a single crochet around the first gap here of the previous row. And I need to work in a single crochet in the top of the treble crochet and work in 1 more single crochet after it. And then we chain 5 again. 1, 2, 4, and 5. Skip a bunch of stitches. In fact, the whole chain space plus the first 3 we skip. Like that. And we work in 2 double crochets around the following chain space, also from the previous row. And a double crochet in the next stitch. And then we chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the crazy part comes. We skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then we work in a double crochet in the next stitch. Then we work in 2 double crochets around the chain space. And a double crochet in the following stitch. We are so far that we are now going to chain 5 because we are in the second part of, like, this pattern repeats twice across. So now we chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it's time for those single crochets. So we first work around a single crochet quite close to where the treble were. A single crochet work into the treble and a single crochet on the other side of the treble. And then we chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We skip the next 3 double crochets, and then the 4th we work in a double crochet. Then there is a chain space from the previous row where we work in 2 double crochets. And then there is another double crochet following. Now, my friends, we chain 5 because now we are towards the end of this row, and that is the exact opposite as what we did in the other end. So we chain 5, work that around the chain space with a single crochet, chain 5 again, 2, 3, 4, 5. We work that around the other chain space. Then we chain 3, 2, 3. So every second row we do a chain 3 to start off, and every second row we do a chain 5 to start off the row. But yeah, so this would be the 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 double crochets, which is the start of and the end of every row. So you can almost actually make this once you are done just by listening to me, I'm realizing. Ah. But yeah, so 1 more row complete. And the tea is actually getting to a stage where it's drinkable. So we have to turn our work, which we will happily do. And then, well, I have to get that on the other side like that. Ta-ta. And here we work in the stacked single crochets to replace the chain. like that. 1, 2, 2 more double crochets. And as I said, since we every row alternates between a chain 3 or a chain 5, now it's time to chain 5 because last row we finished on a chain 3 before doing the border, so to say. So we do chain 5, 1, 2, 4, 5. Then we skip that first chain space of the chain 3 and go into this chain 5 space where we attach it with a single crochet. Chain 5 again, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I just need to see where we are at. We need 2, I believe. Yeah, we need 2. Oh, this is a chain 5. Yeah, it is 2, 4, 6, 4, 5. We need to work in double crochet. So 3 double crochets around this next chain space. And the 4th double crochet goes into it. So like you do go a bit towards the end of that chain space just to make it a bit easier on yourself. Like that. And now comes the chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then you work in around this chain 5 chain space from the previous row. You work in single crochet. Then you have 3 single crochets where you work a single crochet into each. And the very last, we work in another single crochet around this second chain space. So that gives you 5 single crochets on the row. Then we chain 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. And you skip 3 double crochet stitches and you work in a double crochet. Then we work in 3 double crochets in the chain 5 space. And a double crochet in the following double crochet stitch. Because if I've done this correct, we are now back to needing to chain 7, and we are. I've seen this. So I am slowly starting to flow. Oh, oh, oh. Don't split on me, yarn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Go all the way so close as possible to work in the single crochet to those 3 single crochets of the previous row. Work in single crochets in each of those 3 single crochets. And then we'll work a single crochet around the last one. I see we do have some new lurkers. If you feel like saying hello, we would be absolutely happy to say hello back to you. I'm always happy of saying hello. We chain 7 again here. 2, 3, oops, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we need to skip the first 3 double crochets. So in the very last one, we need to do the single crochet. Given we are almost at the end here, we need to work in the 3 double crochets around in the chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3. Then we chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Work in that around the next chain 5 space with a single crochet. We chain 5 again. 1, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to finish off this row by the 2 double crochets, two chains and 2 double crochets. So then we are ready for the next row. Just a minute. In fact, it's probably time for me to shortly enjoy a little bit of tea. Before continuing. Which is definitely okay. So, cheers. I don't know if you have anything to drink with you. I do advise it. It's important we keep hydrated. So, we are starting on the next row, which would be the 2, 3, 4, the 5th of the 8 repeating rows of this full pattern. And as I say, I do stack 2 single crochets to help make a nice well-rounded edge. I like those. And yeah, this is really a yarn where I need to pay attention. So I have been wondering what I could do is I could, of course, place the yarn like, well, that's probably not the best location. This might be a better location. You can see the yarn that I'm using. It is the Drops Cotton Lights, for those that are curious. Okay, so this is an alternating row where we do the first chain 3, work that around the chain 5 space, then we chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and work that around the next chain 5 space, and then I just need to shortly skim that pattern. It says also to chain 5 again, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we need to skip the first 3 stitches, 3 double crochet stitches. So here in the very 4th of them, we work in the double crochet. And then we need to work 3 double crochets around this chain 7 space, but so that it's still closely connected, so you don't stretch them too far, so to say. And then the next goal is basically to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You skip the first single crochet stitch, and in the second you work in the following 3 stitches 3 single crochets, then we chain 6 again, 2, 3, 4, 6. Then at the very end of this chain 7 we start working in the 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and the 4th we work into the next double crochet stitch from the previous row, and then I need to check, we do chain 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, skip 3 stitches, and then we work in a double crochet, and then we work in 3 double crochet around this chain 7, like that. Then I'm chaining 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Have to skip the first single crochet stitch, and then there are 3 single crochets in a row, which we work in, and then the last single crochet stitch of those row 5 I'll also skip. We'll chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. 6. Then we need to work in those 3 double crochets around the chain 7, and the 4th double crochet we work in that first double crochet following. Like this. And then we'll work in chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Attach that to the next chain space with a single crochet. Chain 5 again. 2, 3, 4, 5. That we enter in the next chain 5 space. Then we chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we have the start and finish again, which is the 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Hello, Vivian. I do believe it's more like a DK weight yarn. I am using a 3.5mm crochet hook. Like it's yarn weight B, so it's like a DK weight cotton mixed yarn. So it is 50% cotton, 50% polyester, which makes the cotton feel nice and soft, actually. You're very welcome. Drops is a Norwegian yarn brand. I know they can be purchased across the world. But yeah, so you probably have local dealers if you look for Drops. Drops would be the brand, which is up here. There, I'm having my finger on top. Drops. DROPS. Cotton Lights. And nice to see you here, Vivian. I'm not sure if we have met before, but I bid you a welcome. As mentioned, this purpose of this is to eventually make these 2 patterns into a poncho. But what you also can do with these is to make one long and then use it as a shawl. If that's more up your alley. Some people are shawl people, some people are poncho people. I'm both, depending on the situation. Today I'm wearing a poncho, which I also made. So this whole section, if you make it long enough, you could also make it into a shawl instead, and then you just keep it like how it is here, right? And it's just a nice shawl, which is a bit airy, but it could be a shawl, a throw. But this is gonna turn into a poncho. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm making 2 pieces. They're about 40 centimeters wide. Not sure how much that is in inches, I'm sorry. And 85-ish centimeters long. I will make 2 pieces. This is the first piece, and then I will sew them together, and I will have a poncho according to the pattern. I link to this pattern is in the description box down below. It is a pattern with a diagram, so you need to be able to read diagrams to actually do this. But for those not reading diagrams, well, you can, I guess, get to learn the diagram a bit by listening to me, because I'm just mentioning them piece by piece. Okay, Vivian is looking for a spring poncho from the US. Yeah, well, this could definitely work as a spring one because it is light and airy. It's not like, I don't think this is super warm. I would say spring, summer would probably be the ideal purpose for this. Yeah. And you probably don't necessarily need to use cotton. You could also probably use an acrylic yarn if you wanted to. It's more about finding the right gauge But it is pretty okay. So I don't know if you read diagrams or if you're more the person that needs a fully outwritten pattern. But drops do describe the patterns also in US terms. It's on garnstudio.com, and then you can check off your language location and also your location. For example, because there are differences in terms for US and UK crochet terms in English. So a single crochet is like US single crochet is like UK double crochet, which is totally confusing even for me. I'm just using US terms because that makes my life easier. Yes, they have a chart for it. This pattern, I think, is okay, well described with the chart and everything. You just need to get kind of hold on the hang of it. And I'm making I do believe it's the large version. Give me just a moment. Large to extra large or something like that. Yeah, large, extra large. So they have 3 sizes of this poncho. And I think as long as you don't need to go to the XXL version, it is the pattern repetition way how they do things is much easier for the large, extra large, or the small, medium, because that has to do with if you have to increase or decrease. If you do the LXL size, for example, you don't need to decrease. There's like decrease, increase tips, but you don't need that. So you really need to like just read through the pattern. It can be slightly confusing sometimes when you go through it. But the pattern itself is mainly based on a chart. Yeah. But further than that, it's usually straightforward. This, I think, is one of their better written patterns, because sometimes drops can really write things in a way where you're like being puzzled. Like, what are they meaning here? And when that happens, there are 2 things I do. Either I read it up aloud. Sometimes it really helps if you just read it a couple of times. If that doesn't help, I'll leave it for half an hour, I'll come back, read it up aloud again. If that doesn't help, I'll ask my mom. Because she agrees that their patterns is not always completely logically written. And that doesn't matter what language you have it in. And I think that's maybe because, they have it from a base language which has then been translated. So we have started on that would be the 5th of the 8 repeating rows. I think 6th. I just did the 5th. 6th. Yep, 3 rows to go of this repeating pattern. We chain 2 again. What I also do, oops, this yarn does really want to split on me. What I really do want to say is that, once you have a hold of this, it goes pretty straight forward. And I have a feeling it's going to be nice. And yeah, you probably don't necessarily need to use this yarn. You just need to find something that matches the gauge and is something you think would be a good fit. Chain 5, 4, 5, which will work in the next chain 5 space with a single crochet. And then I believe I need to chain 5 and work around the chain 5 space with double crochets. I'm just double checking, but I'm quite sure. Yes, I do. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we work with double crochets around the chain space here. And meanwhile, my poor yarn left a bit. And we work in a double crochet in the next double crochet. And then, if I'm not wrong, I need to chain 2. Yes, I do. Chain 2 to make a small space here, because we skip 2 stitches and work in a double crochet in the last double crochet stitch, and then we work in 3 double crochets around this chain 6 space we made in the last row. And then, if I'm right, I'll chain 4. 1, 2, oh, yarn split again. 3, 4. So that's the only challenge with this yarn. It really wants to split on you. Thank you. You're very welcome. Yeah. So the, it's a bit funny. So the yarn here, it's quite nice in the sense of the feeling, but I really need to pay attention that it doesn't split on me, because it's really quite. So it is twined around one another, but it's quite loose. Like if I twist it opposite, it's instantly like 8 or 10 loose strands in it, thin strands. I wonder if I have an end somewhere. Should be an end, so I'm just pulling out the end of this yarn skein. Probably regret it, but it's the easiest way of showing it, actually. Let's see. More importantly, that, as you can see, it's multiple small ends if it wants to focus enough. So, and due to its being loosely wound, it really wants to split on you. Further than that, it feels really nice. It's like a really soft cotton feel because it has the polyester in it. So yeah, that's pretty much what can be said. A Gobi yarn you would look. Gobi or hobby? Gobi I haven't heard of. I need to do add treble crochet now in this chain, in this group of 3 single crochets. So that is what we'll do. But I think if you have a DK weight yarn, it's fine. I think if you go worsted weight, you will get a larger result. Yeah, hobby. If you have like a 6/8 cotton, that would be similar to a 6/8 cotton size-wise. I think. And I am a big Hobby fan. I'll have a yarn haul on Friday from Hobby, actually, in fact. One of the reasons probably also for me being quite familiar with Hobby is the fact that I am a Danish native, which basically means I'm born in Denmark and I've lived the first 24 years of my life in Denmark. Then I moved to the Netherlands. And when I started crafting and I wanted to get some more quality yarns, I stumbled upon some really gorgeous yarns at Hobby, and then it was kind of logic for me to, of course, order from a Danish web store and got it sent. So we need to make a chain 2. But yeah, and then one day I saw there was some good offers on drops, not on the Hobby website, but on another website. And I checked out some patterns and I ended up, well, getting yarns for the patterns I'd found. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's gonna happen. So I do have a range of drops projects laying in my project crate upstairs. And those 3, I need to have the next and the next double crochet. And that's kind of one of the reasons I'm working with the drop yarns, because it makes logic sense, right? If it's a drops pattern and they use drop yarns, why wouldn't I try to use drop yarns when I can? I will be 100% honest. I know drops have sales on the yarns every so often, like every couple of months. Some of the yarns go on sale. It's different what yarns on each sale, and I'll just wait on those sales because sometimes you can save somewhere between 20 to 30% on the yarn. And they do their savings then per skein and not necessarily like, you know, you have to buy multiple to get the discount. Which I think is nice. So I keep always my eyes out for discounts when I buy yarn, if possible. Not always, but mostly when I can get discounts, that's when I get yarn. I haven't bought drop yarn in quite a while though. I will have to admit that. Well, I got some in December to continue on another project of mine. Stina, you are wrong here. Need to make a treble crochet, not a double crochet. So, especially in these trebles, I need to keep an eye out because that's when the yarn really want to split. 2, 4. But further than that, I think I think this is a nice project, and I like how this pattern is repeating itself. I can actually imagine doing this pattern as a shawl, but worked up with one of those long variegated cakes, like one of the twisters or something like that. Or Sultan Cotton Deluxe could also be a possibility. I can definitely imagine doing that. Let's see, what did I do here? Need to chain 2. So actually that might be a future idea for me to take one of their normal cake yarns and then probably maybe making that. That could definitely be an idea. I also have another yarn that I could do it with. That is from Stenley. They have some gorgeous cotton cakes too. Variegated cotton cakes. I have that in my stash. I do need to bust my stash at some stage. I am working on it because that is why we're here, right? Because once I'm done with this project, I'm done finished at least 8 of these. Maybe more than 8, but 8 is my expectation. And these days I am really trying to decrease that stash. So it's a bit ironic that I ended up buying yarns, but yeah, that's just how it is. When you have a crafting addiction, you can't leave a good sale. Then you can't leave a good sale behind. You shouldn't leave a good sale behind. Okay, so time to turn the work and time to check where we are at. So we have 2 more repeats left. Oh, now it's starting to be a lot of double crochet, so that uses more yarn. I just need to check quickly. This is we start by stacking the double crochets or stacking 2 single crochets to create the double. And then a double crochet, chain 2, and then 2 double crochets. Hello, Suzanne. Welcome to this live. It's wonderful to see you. I hope you're very well. I am still a little bit of a cold, so I may have a funky voice. I do warn you. There comes a little bit of a cough and a snotty nose, even though I don't have a runny nose, but it feels like it. It could be the tea. Chain 3, then chain 5, and instead of working that into the next space, 2, 4, 5, I work in 3 double crochets around that space. Because now, my friends, we are going to do a bunch of double crochets. Because what I will be doing more or less is basically I'll be doing double crochets all the way across, but I will have some chain 2 gaps in between. So now I just need to keep track. That needs to come next. So I first need to finish up this, including entering 2 double crochets into the chain gap. And then here I need to work in the chain 2. So it's like a fair few double crochets. That's good. It uses up my yarn. Hallelujah. And Susan, if you missed the job update, then I am unfortunately still unemployed, at least according to official sources. So I still have a lot of freedom, one could say. And then we will be moving my mom-in-law, in February, because apartment was approved and she got it assigned to her. Now they're just making all these agreements for that she can pick up the key and so on. But she does need quite a bit of help to get it all moving, which means that it's gonna take a bunch of time in February off my hands. But it's okay. She's ready to do a lot of things for me, so of course I'll help her with whatever she needs. And in that sense, it's probably pretty okay not having a job, because that makes helping her a lot easier. Where my partner is only able to help either in the evening or during the weekends because he works. Need to chain 2. Yes, freedom is great as long as it's affordable. It will be affordable for a period. And I do still have a business on the side where I'm able to generate some income. So overall, I'll be fine for a period, but it's not something that will build up a fortune or something like that. What I might consider is then expanding the business and then potentially setting up a web shop or something like that for the crochet bits to see if there is an opportunity there, even if it's just gonna be a little bit, right? So I have ideas that I'm working with, but I think the first and most important part right now is to ensure that I get my mom-in-law moved into her new apartment. That will definitely take up some time. But I really like the freedom I used to have when I was a freelancing person. Like I did lots of different freelancing tasks, which just allowed me to travel when I wanted to, if I wanted to go to Denmark to see my family or something like that. And another benefit of that freedom is, of course, that I get to spend time with you guys because right now I am free to do so. where if I would be working on specific hours, then I would have less time to go live and it would be more like general videos. I don't mind doing both sorts of content. So this benefits on everything to both sides. Hello, Sarah. Absolutely wonderful to see you here. Good morning to you. And I hope you're doing well. So that was the 3 double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I have more hobbies as well, right? I still, and that's another benefit. I have more time to. This sounds crazy to some maybe, but I shoot um with my air rifle. So I go to the club Tuesday mornings, which I haven't been able to do for a couple of years due to my job. Now I can do that again. So like tomorrow morning, I'll pick up the bike and I'll drive to the club uh, for a morning session, which also makes me like I get out of the house and I see people. There's lots of there's lots of benefits to this freedom, honestly. There's only one downside to the freedom, of course. It's the income. And I have been applying for jobs. I will be honest and say I have been applying. And one of them told me or came back to me today and said that the company unfortunately were not willing to negotiate. They wanted me to come to the office 3 times a week, and the office is literally an hour and a half away, and that's just way too far for me. 3 days a week, spending 3 hours a day in transportation, it's 9 hours a week just in transportation. And it's probably more like 3 hours plus because that's with the public transportation, and then I'm not even at the train station. I still need to get myself to the train station. Um, so it's for me that's quite a bit, so to say. Especially if it's full time, then I won't have much time to do anything else. So that is a job that I could apply for if I get into a situation where I desperately need an income, if that makes sense. So yeah, I am in that sense, I am blessed that I do right now have the luxury and can afford for a period to wait and see if any other opportunities might arise, if that makes sense. Maybe I could work at the club. Well, it is the work conducted at that club is actually more voluntary work. Else I would love to. Um, and I have to say, so I have a really good friend in America, which I speak quite a bit with. And I know, so we talked a bit about a bit how it works there, right? Like if you have a full-time job, usually also medical covered and so on with insurances. The insurance system, luckily, should I say, works a lot different in Europe and in the Netherlands. And even as a Dutch person, which I'm sure many Americans will be jealous of how our system are in the Netherlands. I can tell you that I'm still missing Denmark. I cannot, for the love of my life, find the entrance to this stitch. Just a moment. It's a little bit tight. You should say it should come, but it's not. Why is it not? What did I do? What did I do? Need my darning needle. But basically, we don't need a job to be. So I get some financial support for my health insurance, which is an obligatory thing, but my health insurance is not a fortune. Well, it is a fortune. It feels like a fortune, trust me. But so it's there. There is room. Why can't I then get my needle through? This is the first time I've had this with this pattern. Good damn it. There it is. There it is. So my health insurance is probably like 200 euros a month, but then I get 130 euros back from the government right now based on the expected income for this year. And then they have like a self-risk fee you have to pay. So like if you have to go to the hospital, there is a self-pay fee, and it's basically just to prevent you not going just because you think you're sick. You know you're sick, I guess. And once you have hit that threshold, everything after that is kind of free and paid for by the insurance. As long as you're at a hospital where the insurance has an agreement, blah, 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 blah. But I'm sure you're familiar with that part as well. What is that, yeah, so you're less dependent on having a full-time job to be covered for your health insurance. I guess that's the bottom line of this. And in Denmark, it's a lot better because in Denmark, your health insurance is automatically paid through your taxes. And you will pay tax on whatever income you have in Denmark. And that doesn't matter if you're retired or if you work full time or part time or whatever, it's just automatically paid through your taxes. You just go to the hospital if you're sick, you get treated, you don't see a bill. That I love. That I really love. Hello, Mimo D Crochets or Dawn P. It is, I think, the first time I see you in this chat or in this live. It's absolutely wonderful to see you, and I hope you're having a great day. So yeah, and of course, due to our health system being a bit different, it is a little bit more affordable being unemployed, I guess you could say. So that's a good thing. Let's see, I need to chain 5. And then we work in some double crochets. This is another row of a lot of double crochets. First we work in 3 double crochets around that last. Oh, yarn split. I both love and hate this yarn, genuinely, because it acts like it does. It feels nice, it wants to split. Now this is easy because I have these 3 small spaces, and between those 2 I need to make the spaces on the other side, and then except for that it's just all double crochets. So let's get going. Yeah, the real question is, so people are up and around and getting going and so on. Are you working on something right now? I know that Helle is knitting on some pot holders. This yarn, so it's drops, as you can see, cotton light, which is 50% cotton, 50% polyester. It is a DK weight yarn. They recommend a 4mm hook. The pattern is a 3.5mm hook. 50 grams, so 1.8 or 1.75 ounces to 105 meters, 115 yards. Hello, Amanda. Wonderful to see you, girl. Did you go on late last night? I know you were up doing your live. But I knew I had to get up on time this morning, so I couldn't hang out long because I was like, I need sleep and I won't get much sleep because I'm going to get up early, so I better go to bed. So I had to leave you. Oh, yes. And you got your plant, cactus, stitch marker was a T-pin holder finished? You woke up by the phone and had the maintenance guy back. Yeah, that apartment of yours, that heating system is really a story on its own, isn't it? That's crazy. So Amanda has this issue in her apartment that it's like 18 degrees, no matter how high she turns up the heat. 18 degrees is like, I don't know, 60-ish some odd Fahrenheit. It is what I would consider on the colder, chillier side. And knowing that Amanda is in Sweden, it can get a lot chillier at her place than it can at my place. Right now it is 20.5 degrees Celsius indoor, which, trust me, is a lot nicer. Let's see, I need to keep track here. That's a chain 2. The ball I made is a bit too big. We'll make 2 smaller ones, and the one I have will get a flower nibble on top. Nice. I'm looking forward to see that. It's a bit funny. I remember when we started talking in the very beginning, you weren't a big amigurumi type maker, and now I think if I consider what you've been doing the last year and a half, I think you've done a lot more amigurumis than you thought you would have. Yes, it's quite amusing what she creates. That is for sure. Let's see, that is a lot of double crochets along here. Yeah, it needs to be fun, definitely. I'm actually slowly getting a nice collection of yarn scraps, so I probably could make like a small turtle or something like that. Plus, I do have some other leftover yarn, um, which I'm not really using, so it's probably just gonna be like, donation or something like that. I do have a few small projects that I donate to charity, especially things that I'm either not considering good enough for selling, and then I just think sometimes that they can use it. They have some emergency centers in Denmark that accepts things, and they often are sometimes in situations where um, where they have children. Also, some of these emergency centers. Amanda says if when her headache goes away, she will probably make a pop up. Well, you're more than welcome. If it's gone within the next 2 hours, let me know if you do, and I can send my lovely viewers to rate you. If anyone is still around and wants to see more. Um, because in 2 hours I will be gone. Because then I need to cook dinner to keep my partner happy. Especially because as long as I'm if as long as I don't have a reason for not having dinner ready on time, so to say, I really should make sure it's done. I'm not sure he will be pleased if he came home and I'm just chatting around with you guys. Which is fair because at that time I'm probably also hungry myself. And yes, Amanda, please do feel better. Um, I am definitely feeling better than last week, but I still have my coughing moments. I have to say, this afternoon it's gone a bit better than I had expected it to. I've not coughed as much as I thought I would, but maybe I shouldn't talk too quickly because it can still go wrong. Right? I can still suddenly end up in some nasty coughing. Let's see. I need to do chain 2, skip 2. So I thought, depending on how far we get and what we want to do, I hope to finish up this on this live. That would be nice. And if I do, then either we attach this, or I'll dig up this, which is the Ceylon Seashell. So it kind of depends. Also depends on how quick I work, I guess, and how things go. But my first goal is to finish up the rest of this game. And if I can do it during this live, I don't know, actually. So I'm always overly optimistic with how much I can do. My yarn stash speaks of that. Realistically seen, I probably have yarn enough for the rest of my life. That's depending on how old I get, of course. But more realistically, I should probably just work on that. I'm working. It's in gray. As you can see, it's gray tones. That goes. Well, that was the negative side. It's gray tones that goes into these lighter grays, and then it's right now on my yarn spindle thingy, which is this umber yellow. Let's see if I can actually get better light on it. Nah, like that. I don't know. It's yellow, but the webcam shows it off as brighter as it is. It is a bit more sun yellow. And then it's like cream inside in the center. It is a Linda Hobby soft cake. So it's 1,000 meters. And I chose the gray yellow because if I'm in the Netherlands buy Ceylon tea in the store, they come in a yellow package. The tea bags are grey. So it made totally sense to make it gray and yellow. But we already frogged back like 20 plus rows once because I had missed a chain 2, chain 3. I don't remember if it was chain 2 or chain 3, but I'd missed a chain at some stage. And I'm not sure that I could have blocked my way out of it. You know, like I knew it was there, so for me it was visible enough. You were there that day when we frogged it all back. I just haven't fully caught up on it yet. What I frogged back, that is. Working on it. So that's an option. But as I said, first we are gonna finish off this game. That is, if I manage. And I've been really like calculating my yarn consumption this month with the labels and so on, like on days, how many days and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is not going very quickly. And if I think about how much yarn I technically have, let's be realistic. Then I have yarn for the rest of my life. That is how much yarn I have in my stash. Like, the thing is, it's probably not always what I want to make, so you'll always end up buying some. But that is one of the reasons I probably just should use what I have in my stash. At least in all hindsight. But yeah, so January has been busy. So, and the real question is always, will I be able to use more in February and so on? But we'll have to see. We will have to see. But yeah, frocking back a lot of rows doesn't help because you will still have to redo the work. That's just how it is. So time to turn it around and repeat the pattern again. So we completed a full repetition. Awesome. Well, it's on the wrong side of the hook. Like that. So that was better. We do the stacking, 2 single crochets, so that's other good thing. So the like last couple of rows is also like you do, because of more double crochets, the yarn goes more, like the consumption, so to say. But the other rows go quicker because there's more chains. You're starting on a new ball, and you need 2 of them. So let's hope you're not making it too big. Pay attention, lady. And the real question is how big the balls you want, right? Like to kind of fit the cactus. It's not a cactus, several plural. Okay, so that was chain 3, and then I need to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 5, and we skip 3 stitches plus a space. And then that's where I have to increase to a couple of gaps again, so it is still a bunch of double crochets. For me, that is. I do think I found the yarn you used for it on Hobby, and I'm like, oh, it's gorgeous. I want. And then I'm more like, okay, I hope Hobby will not discontinue it until my yarn stash allows me to get it. And that was kind of my conclusion on that. We need 2 more double crochets before I make a space with the 2 chains. And for those curious, I can tell you it is 15:27, so that is 3:27 p.m. Central European Time. The acacia, the ones you used for your cacti last night. I think it's a gorgeous color, that green. I was in love. I like green. Either green or red, but actually I like all colors. My favorite color used to be green. Then for quite some years it was red, because red is in the Danish flag, and like even my rifle is red, right? Like last kit I had some light blue in it, even though I had expected it to be red, but I ended up with light blue. Next we'll probably go back to the red style, I'll imagine. It seems like a very gorgeous yarn. So yeah, I'm jelly. And Amanda, on Friday I have my birthday yarn haul for you and everybody else. And then now I'm officially not allowed to buy yarns unless a specific yarn comes on sale, as long as I have the discount voucher I got from another company. But it's only like a €5 discount. So its specific yarn has to come on sale for me to allow myself to do it. And if it doesn't, I won't. And then no more yarn buying until I've destashed and found some money, I guess. Or found a job. But yeah. And I technically have enough yarn, so I don't need anything. It's always nice to have. It's not a need to have, right? And unless it's a commission, I'm trying not to buy more. And that's definitive because my bank account will be draining slowly from next month. Sadness. Or reality, I guess. It's more a fact. It's reality. How long can we afford freedom? We need to have a chain 2 space here. Kind of wonder myself if I actually hold on this. I feel my hands a bit. La, 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 la. And yes, Nightbot is actually telling everybody to check out Amanda's channel. So if you haven't done that yet, do check out Amanda's channel. I can warmly recommend paying her lives a visit. They are worth a good laugh, mostly. And the fun thing is, it's not because it's intended, it just happens. It just happens. Let's see. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We work into that chain space. Chain 3 and finish it off. With the 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Amanda says, yeah, she just happens to be her, or just happens to be me. Yep. But I guess that goes for all of us, right? You don't always know what you can expect with me either. There isn't like a set guarantee. So that was a bit further, just stretching my fingers for a minute and moisturizing my throat. Wonder how much yarn is actually left here. Half a skein? Will I reach that? Not sure. Maybe. And maybe it's what we're working with. Maybe it's less than half. Amanda is entertaining, Susan says. Yes, she is. That's for sure. Amanda is entertaining. Sometimes I find myself a bit more dull in comparison. Not intentionally. So we stack a couple of single crochets again. So are you working on anything this morning, Susan, or are you just hanging out with a cup of something to drink? One, two, three, four, five. One, two, three, four, five, and we skipped 3 double crochets. Susan is crocheting on an easy baby blanket for donation, so also for charity, I guess. That's nice. Some kind of charity. It is charity when you donate things, I would say. How is it again? We will do 4. I do not know what the end result is with this poncho, but we will see. If I like it, I keep it. And if I fit it, more importantly. Because the last one I made, I do not fit completely. It's a bit snug for me. It's a bit too tight. So, yeah. I do 2 double crochets and another double crochet in the following. And then it's a chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I need to make a treble in the next chain space. So that is what we're doing. And the yarn almost split. I just caught it in time. Chain 5 again. 2, 3, 5. I am right now also going through my items, which means that I always will have some that is likely going up for the charity thing, and then stacking that in a bag. The charity I donate to is a charity where my mother also donates. So it's just easier because else I need to figure out what possibilities there are in not in Denmark, in the Netherlands, and so on. So so far I just bring it with me home. It sounds crazy, I know, but now I need to check what the plans are. Is it just... No, I'm quite sure I need to make another. I do. Which I could, but the charity where my mom donates to, they accept a bit of everything. They accept like socks and hats for the homeless or those living on the street. And then, let's see, yeah. But they also help emergency centers or crisis centers where people somehow seek shelter, and that can also be women and children, and they can also use toys and blankets. So yeah, they somehow sort of manage a bit of everything there, which I think is nice. No, 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 no. Yeah, well, I'm right. I'm good. I'm good. Susan makes items for donations for young people and elderly people. Charities also hats for food pantries. Oh, so that's like, those community food pantries you have where you can like leave your, let's say you have an extra pack of pasta you don't know what to use with, and you like add it to the pantry, and people can come and take as to what they need to help fight against wasting food. Yeah, I can't use all the items I make either. That's just not realistic. That is not realistic. And sometimes I try out new things and the fit is wrong, or it's not what I expected it to be. And when that happens, that's usually, or if I just plainly have too many scraps, um, that is when I say, okay, that goes for the donation. So like, um, I'm the first star stitch, um, the first star stitch, what is it called? Headband I made. So this is another star stitch headband I made. Used it today. I made this one for myself. But the first one I made, I didn't work it in the round. And because of how it was sewn together, it looked a bit funky. I was like, no, I'll donate this. So that's what I did. Um, and it's still laying to go at some stage because it's still gonna be good for somebody that just needs warmth, but not necessarily needs something that's looking fancy. Um, and I wasn't in the mood to frog it because it was too much work to frog. Like, I was just being like, okay, fair enough, I learned this, and now I'm gonna. Well, now I did it wrong. Like, so when you learn things and conclude it's not working out how you expected it to be, but that doesn't mean that other people can't get happy with it or can use it. So that is also where some of my things goes to, testing out things. The number of chains I did for the headband, it was with an Aran weight yarn, and I think I had, oh god gracious, 72 maybe. Kind of depends of you what crochet hook you're working with and if it's bulky or Aran or whatnot. What I do, because it's pretty simple to make with any yarn you have, and make it fit the yarn as long as you know how many star stitches that goes to the circumference you need. So what I did was I made a swatch with like, let's say 5 star stitches, and then I measured that. So I had a good idea of what's the width of a star stitch. And then I, oh damn, yarn split. We'll try again. And then I just divided the circumference needed with the width. And it's always better if you're like on the edge, make a star stitch less because it will usually give a bit. I didn't do a tutorial in the headband, but I guess I could. Have you seen? I have What's it called? I have a bolero tutorial I made. I think it's called Barbara, but I'm not sure. And I made the tutorial due to how to show how you could adapt the tutorial to use any yarn. I need to find it. Give me a moment. Mm-mm-mm. No, I don't need you to play. Yeah, Barbara Bolero. So I made that, and then there I explained how you could adapt any yarn to use the tutorial basically. And I guess I could do the same for the star stitch and make a tutorial for it. Just not sure I will be able to reach that while it's still headband season. um, I may have some current Simply Soft. Maybe that could work up as well nicely. I don't know. That's a bit more relatable for the Americans compared to some of the other yarns I have. Let's see. We need a space. So yeah, I could make one. I could definitely make one. I'm also fiddling with something I hope I can make for a tutorial as well. Oh, I have so many ideas. And I can't even say I have too little time, but I won't have much time next coming weeks, that's for sure. Because as I mentioned earlier, is that well, I'm away some of the days this week, and then when I get home, we need to find out everything about what we need to get done for moving my mom-in-law from her house to a smaller apartment. So there needs to be a lot of things done. Packing out, but we also need to go shopping to buy some things because she wants a few different furnitures, and some furniture is going out, and it's gonna be a lot of work, that is for sure. I'm already exhausted just by the thought of having to do it myself one day. And the only thing I can say is if you live very comfortable in your home right now, um, but you do know you won't be living there when you get very old, it's never wrong to go a bit through your things and sort it out sometimes in a while. My mom-in-law has been really good at doing that lately. And actually, she's kind of been subconsciously busy with it the last couple of years, which means that it is going to be a lot less, but it's still going to be a lot, right? And sometimes I think I should probably do the same. Like go through my stuff. What am I actually not even using anymore? Can I throw it out or can I sell it? Because if I'm not using it, I'm not going to be missing it. I'm very fortunate to have time to help her right now. And she's fortunate that I do. I can tell you so much that already the first couple of months, so like before New Year's, we went out together a couple of times to do some groceries together, and she really enjoyed it. Um, and that's really nice. And she is a wonderful woman. She's definitely, um, of course, she's never gonna be as good as my mom because your mom is always your mom, and that's just how it is. But I would say she comes really close to being a spare mom. Like a lot of people really have issues with their in-laws and they hate them. I'm so blessed that my mom-in-law is just a wonderful person and she wants the best for me and her son. Um, and in that aspect, sometimes I feel I'm this daughter that she never had, if that makes sense, right? Because we do things together that you might normally do with your daughter. Let's see here. I need another chain 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm definitely blessed, and because she's spoiling us and so caring for us, of course we want to do the same. It's not even a doubt, but she's sort of really enjoying the fact that I have more time um, on my hands. But I will need to generate an income somehow to be able to keep having all this free time on my hand. Amanda says, speaking of moms, Rita's mom is coming home today. If she's not already home. Awesome. Oh, that's great news. Oh, that's really great news. Oh, that's amazing to hear. I just need to keep track here. Oh, it came finally after an hour and a half. So I need to check here. I have those. I have those. It is the chain 5, 3 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my mom is always going to be my mom and nobody can replace her. But I am really fortunate to have a mom-in-law that I can communicate well with, that, you know, she does things like last week when she heard I had a cold, she was like, "Oh, do you want me to make chicken soup for Thursday when you come and eat?" And I'm like, "Yes, please." And she did, like homemade chicken soup, which is like some of the best you can get for a cold. Right? So it just shows the love. So I really appreciate her. I have to also admit, the first year that I lived here in the Netherlands, which is a long time ago now, back in 2009, I was scared the fuck out of her. Like, I was scared being alone with her. Um, Not because she was frightening, but because we didn't speak the same language. She could only speak Dutch, and I could speak anything but Dutch. I could speak Danish, English, bits of German, but it was difficult to communicate. And she really wanted to go shopping and take me shopping, and then if we were in a store and I would see a piece of clothing, she would instantly ask me if I wanted it, and or rather, she wouldn't ask me if I wanted it. She would say, "I'll buy it for you," which is cool. But sometimes you take out a shirt from the rack, you look at it and you're like, you don't like it because it has a pattern on it you don't like, which you didn't see before you actually pull it out of the rack, or something else, right? So, and I couldn't explain her why I didn't always necessarily um, want what was offered, so to say. So because we couldn't communicate, I was kind of scared of her, or being more scared of being alone. Um, Luckily, the following year I learned Dutch, and that has definitely since improved our relationship by a lot. Also because I could slowly start to explain, either if I appreciated things, or if I found it a waste, because it's the yes, it's I appreciate you want to give this to me, but if I'm only going to use it, let's say 3 times, I think it is a waste of your money, and then I'd rather have you give me something else, that I would be able to appreciate even more. And I think I managed to communicate that. So it's definitely better than what it was. And over the years, I think we have grown a good appreciation of one another. Yeah, so that's nice. Let's see. Uh, 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 uh. That's it. So we chain 5 2 times. Attach 2, 4, 5, and it's almost 4 p.m. here. Oh my goodness, time flies. I am honestly not 100% sure if we'll manage to finish up the rest of this game, because I have about an hour to go here with you guys. Would be awesome if we do. Else I'll finish it tonight. 2, 3. Mm-mm. But it could be. It could be. But I'm really happy to hear that Rita's getting her mom home. It must have been rough the last month and a half, 2 almost. It's been quite a while now. And that was 2 stacked single crochets instead of the chain 3. Two, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 months. Yeah, it's been a long time. I feel for her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the real question is what I'm doing here. Right? I'm working them around. Those double crochets. And the yarn split again. So that's also one of the reasons it's not going as quickly as I wanted to with this yarn. And again, damn it. So, but I caught it because it really wanna split on me. So let's see, we have that. So we are for the, let's see. That's the first. We are on the chain 7. Chain 7. Rita has been so broken by all the travels with food to the hospital. Her body's not happy. There's been a few times where she's almost had to go to the ER herself. It's been a lot. Yeah, I can imagine. It's been a lot. It has been a lot. Definitely been praying for her. It's crazy. For sure, also a labor of love, and I'll honestly say, especially I think the last year, I wouldn't say that I regret living in the Netherlands, but it does make me sad that the distance to my parents are as long as it is. Like, I genuinely wish um, that I could live closer, but I don't think it will happen. Um, or if it would, then it would mean that I'm not here with my partner, um, which is not necessarily something I would want either. Um, yeah. La, 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 la. But it does make me realize, and I think it's also a bit the fact I am a lone child, at least on my mother's side. My mom only has me, and I'm so far away. Um, if I had been closer, I would have been able to help more, if that makes sense. And, you know, that is slowly dawning on me that we are not forever young. But I'm also, I guess, to some extent at peace because try imagine the people who immigrates to the opposite side of the world, those that moves to Australia or New Zealand or whatever, they won't come quickly home either, or the opposite way around. I do know of people that's done the opposite move, right? Like they haven't gone to England, or for the matter, another person I know has gone from Australia to Norway. Not exactly around the corner, right? Um, so I think it's also sometimes a part of accepting how things are. It takes about 9 hours to drive to my parents' place, if traffic behaves. Very valid to mention traffic. So if traffic is good and the breaks you take aren't too long, it's about 9 hours, maybe 9.5. Um, so if I go alone, I will fly. So I'll go to the airport and I'll take the plane because that's going to be a lot quicker. Um, but if we go together and I bring my partner with me, we drive. And then we switch driving. So usually then we will only have a break when we have to use the toilet, fuel the car, or have some food. And then if you go tired of driving, you basically ask the other person if they can take over, and then you switch because we both have a driver's license. The only good thing about the long drive, the 9 hours drive home, is that if he's in a good mood and he drives a lot, I can sit next to him and I crochet a lot. um, so it does give some crochet opportunity, I guess, as long as the weather is good and I'm not too tired. Yeah, we could do that with just a stop or two. Like if we're really good, I think the best we have ever done is one stop, but usually it's 2 or 3 stops. And that's usually because somebody needs to use a toilet or we have to fuel the car. When we had the old car, which was a diesel car, that was a lot better because if we did really good, we could fuel the car, and then we could drive all the way without having to fuel, as long as we didn't do any crazy speed stuff. Like we do drive through Germany, which means that um, they have stretches where you can drive unlimited, and that does consume quite a bit of petrol. Amanda says she has a friend that's been coming down to visit about once a year. She has a 12 hours drive. She does one stop a little after halfway for fuel. She's always prepared with snacks and coffee. Yeah, definitely. It's about being prepared, right? And usually when we stop, it's really just basically it's a 5 minute stop for using a toilet, or um, uh, we'll have to eat at some stage during. But we usually do that quick. We are even so well known on the stretch now that we know where to stop for the best food. um, so we get the right services, so to say. That would be what the UK people say. They will stop at the services at the highway. And services is basically just a place where you can fuel and eat and shop if you need anything. Um, and we're usually also well prepared when we go. What I also do is, especially for like snacks and so on, right? Like we also like we might bring fruit like mandarins or something like that. The person on the passenger seat gets to unpack and unwrangle and feed the driver um, with snacks, cookies, whatever. Susan finds the concept of driving to different countries fascinating. Susan, compare it to driving to a different state, I guess. The only difference is, of course, here they also speak other languages in different states. But except that, I think it's comparable. Though when you drive to different states, you do have to go through borders, right? And in the EU, if you're driving through countries, that's a part of the Schengen. Schengen is like an agreement accord between countries in the EU where you can free pass free between borders. So you don't need necessarily to be checked border wise. But you do need to be able to identify yourself. So you do need a passport or an ID card to prove who you are. Amanda asked me how long it takes to drive from the south to the north of the Netherlands or from east to west. East to west is a lot quicker than from south to north. East to west is about 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. We live quite close to the eastern border, and if I drive all the way to the west, it's probably an hour and a half. There are stretches in the Netherlands that's a bit wider and have a bit shittier road system, so to say, not necessarily directly highway, and they will do probably 2 hours. North to south is more like 4.5 hours, maybe even 5 if you really take the very top of Groningen of Friesland to the very south of Limburg, which is like Maastricht. That's my rough estimate. And I'm living like halfway. So if I go all the way north or all the way south, I'm a bit halfway ish, if that makes sense. No border crossing in the United States, only US to Canada or Mexico. There's a border crossing. Okay, so you don't have specific. It sounds a bit funky when I say it like that, but you don't have specific crossings for in between states. You don't have border crossing between states. You just have like a board saying, welcome to whatever state you're in, if that makes sense. Welcome to Ohio, or welcome to Florida. Because we have that as well when we cross between the regions. The Netherlands is a very tiny country. I'm going to tell you something which you're going to find extremely surprising, Amanda. The Netherlands is smaller than Denmark. And Denmark is a very small country. And the thing is, if you ask the Americans, everybody knows where the Netherlands is. Amsterdam. But not so many know where Denmark is. Some people even think it's a city in America somewhere. It's not. Um, the Netherlands is about 5,000 square kilometers smaller than Denmark, but it has 3 times the amount of people living here, which means that also the Netherlands, compared to any other country in Europe, is the most densely populated country in Europe, which is basically, well, It's busy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it is, in that sense, yes, it is quite densely populated. Even I feel it. In Denmark, somehow I feel more air around me when I drive somewhere. There are still places in the Netherlands that's not that densely populated. But that tells you then that the areas that are densely populated are even more densely populated than you would think. I do travel to Belgium and Luxembourg, yes. I'm there probably a couple of times a year. Like I'm in Luxembourg once a year for a week in December. Every year in December, I go to Luxembourg. There's a match there where I go to. And in Belgium, I'm also helping organizing a match that's during Pentecost. And then I just, I know people in Belgium. Germany is a place I travel to more often. It has to do with the fact that I shoot in the German Liga. I have some friends there that I'm helping out, and then of course I'll travel through Germany to go to Denmark. I am planning on flying home. I just need to order tickets actually. And then I'll be home for a short visit. And then we have been talking about vacation, but that's first gonna be like August, September, and we are planning on maybe Austria, Slovenia, Croatia. That direction is what we have been talking about. That could be nice. And I have a really good friend living in Croatia, and I'm quite sure that, like, she sent us some tips. So that is something we'll be looking into. That's going to be like probably like a round trip. Like we'll stop halfway and see something, and we'll drive through. So there's a welcome sign for state crossing. So that's at least when you cross the state border. That's nice. 2, 4, 5, 6. Amanda says from east to west here is about 5-ish hours, and north to south is 26 years. Sweden is a long country. I know. I know. And believe it or not, like, and I've only been driving in the southern part of Sweden, and when you go there on the highway, and you can drive, and the only thing you see on both sides of your car, except for the road and other cars, are pine trees. Yes, that is a lot of pine trees. My preferred airline to travel to Denmark. From the Netherlands, I would either travel KLM, which have a partnering business with Delta, or I would travel SAS, so Scandinavian Airlines, which recently have been bought by KLM partially and some other American holding because they went sort of bankrupt. Which means that the prices on tickets are higher than they used to be. Like, so what I used to be able to travel from like Amsterdam to Copenhagen is now probably 25% more expensive. Or it could also just be to do everything is more expensive since COVID. I don't know if it's one or the other. I haven't checked the prices that much before that whole incident. The good thing is then that the place where I have most of my frequent flyer miles right now is then with the KLM the last couple of years. So in that sense, it's a good thing that SAS transferred over because that means that I can all do sky blue when I travel. And we went to New Zealand a couple of years ago, and there we flew with Emirates. So we flew from Düsseldorf in Germany to Dubai, and we stopped over in Dubai and flew from Dubai direct to Auckland. And then inside New Zealand, we flew Air New Zealand. We had a couple of inland flights as well, both from Auckland to the southern part of the Northern Island, because that's where my partner's family lives. And then also between the Northern and the Southern Island, because we were thinking on doing like a road trip thing. And then we checked the prices of fueling, the amount of kilometers we would drive to see what we actually wanted to see, how long it would take, combined with what it would cost to actually just fly, and concluded that we would have much more time, and price wise, it would be close to the same flying as it would be to pay for the ferry and, you know, driving and all that stuff. Um, so the end result was actually that we decided to pay for the airline tickets because it was actually cheaper to fly down, which we did. And the timing back then was impeccable, really amazing, because apparently when we were at the South Island, the North Island got hit by a tropical storm, like a typhoon. So they had like winds and nasty rain, and we just had sun and almost wind still, and we never saw it. And we've realized when we were traveling on the way back home that they had had a nasty storm. We only saw the end tail of it, so to say, because when we did land on the way back to the family, they were like, "Oh, but we have been checking if you would actually be cancelled or not." And we're like, "What's going on?" And we're like, "Okay, it's raining a lot here," and that was kind of what we saw of it. Sometimes you're also allowed to be lucky, you know. And I couldn't have predicted this when I planned all this like 2 months in advance, right? So I guess God smiled upon me, if you believe in that sort of thing. I just need to check. I do believe that this is where right? Yeah, I did the 6, so this is where I do the double crochets around. Coolio. It's funny how things go sometimes in life. Um, I definitely we had a lot of luck back then. Been traveling quite some places. I had good travel experiences also with Lufthansa. Lufthansa is a German airline company. And well, I've been to America. I've traveled twice to Georgia, um, and that I did with Delta, probably because it was the only or the cheapest option, I guess. That was back when I was still doing sport. I need to check if I am actually doing. I am. So that was paid by the Federation. And I told the Federation it doesn't matter if I fly out from Düsseldorf or if I fly out from Amsterdam, because I live basically in between the airports. Like if you draw a line and take the middle and put a dot pot, that's pretty much where I live. The distance wise, it's maybe 3 miles between the two airports. Um, so I usually just say, I don't care where I travel from, just give me the flights that's either the cheapest or the one that fits best with the time given the person that's going to pick me up. In the case of my partner having to bring and pick me up, I had to depart either early in the morning or late in the evening, like because he would have to, like, it had to fit around his work schedule. And they usually did that. And we flew Delta both time back then to the States, um, which was not necessarily a good experience, not due to the company, I think. Um, the first year on the way back, my rifle case got more or less demolished um, on luggage. So they had to pay for a new one. Like I got compensated with a new one. And the second time on the way home, I had a seat in the aisle in the center row, and I had crying kids in front and behind me, and I was just mostly in the mood to sleep. So that was a very, very long haul flight, 10 hours with screaming children in front and behind me. So that was not necessarily, and that's not the fault of Delta. It's just me being unlucky with where I was seated. So, but yeah, I've definitely had some great adventures, without doubt. Tried a bit of everything when it comes to flying. Let's see. We need to have the chain space. So yeah, tried lots of things. Some of it I miss. Some of it I don't. I don't know if it's due to, both being older and then thinking back at your younger days. Um, but I've definitely been blessed with great adventures, um, in life. Yeah, and there are still more adventures to come. Oh, maybe we will make it. Hmm, we will see. Could be that I'm surprising myself. It would be nice if we make it. Because that would be one more skein used. Yay. That almost makes me feel I could do more. Split the yarn. And then we had gotten so long until it had split last time. Let's see, 2, 4, 5. Could actually imagine making some sort of top with this. I think that would be a nice yarn too, as well for it. Do you believe they have patterns for it as well on the website, from Drops, so garnstudio.com? But I don't have, um, it's not on sale and I don't need it. I don't need to buy. I don't need to buy yarn. I want to, but I don't need to. As long as I don't need to, I shouldn't. With the exception for what's already bought this year. Da-da. So we will stack 2 single crochets again instead of the chain 3 to replace the double. It's valid to say I had started on the skein before the live, like it wasn't a new skein. 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now I think that's the place where I already need to do it again. Yes, it is. We are now exactly coming into the section where we have to do a bunch of double crochets. Oh, splitty. That said, if I could find a similar yarn that was less splitty, I would probably quicker use that, because due to this having the semi-splitty nature, it is it does take a bit longer sometimes to do. And that is obviously slightly inconvenient. So I need to do 2 into the chain space. One in the next, and then we need to create a chain space of chain 2. Then it's 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, skip the treble, and on another next chain space we do another 3 doubles. Oh, I see that I have a phone call. Give me a moment. I think it could be important given that I'm applying to jobs, so I'll be right back.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun, as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just 2 hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be 2 hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay on forever.
So I am back. It was the unemployment agency because my unemployment benefits is coming to an end and they wanted to check how I am and stuff like that and catch up and yeah. So yeah, I think we got that settled, at least if I had any questions and so on. And yeah, as I told them, I'm not too stressed about not having found a job, and the opportunities I had um, unfortunately didn't yield a job because like I had an offer, and I'm probably having multiple offers even if I wanted to, but the transportation is just too far every day. um, and I don't want to spend 2 or 3 hours every day alone in transportation just to go to work. It's not it's not a realistic thing for me to do, especially not when it's a job quite similar to what I did, and I did that fully remote. It's just because the company policy is that you need to be X amount of days at the office. Um, so I think it's fair to say that the world is not as flexible as it was back when the COVID times were here, because back then you could of course work remote because basically there were rules implying that you more or less couldn't be too many people at the same room at the same time. But the world still sort of went on, right? Um, so what I'm probably gonna do is, because as you know, um, not that we have discussed my business a lot, but I do have a small business on the side. And that business I will likely be seeing if I can crank up a bit for additional income. Um, but that is likely what I have to rely on primarily until I find the right job, to see if that's possible again. Um, which does give me the freedom that I really enjoy. Um, so that's that. And thank you guys for actually waiting on me while I was talking with the unemployment agency. She was polite and she was like, "Am I calling on the right time?" And I was like, Yeah, I'll be fine as long as it's not gonna take like half an hour, right? And I think we did it in like what, 3 or 4 minutes, so that's okay. Yeah, it's too long of a commute for me. So one of them I could, if I had a car myself, I could do it probably in an hour. And normally it's more like 40 minutes, but it will be an hour because it passes through a very densely populated area. So there's always queues in the morning, like insane queues that I would have to drive past. Um, and since the work will be business hours, it's definitely going to be an hour. Um, and the same can be said for the other jobs. They're just further away, and public transportation is just. And then before I'm even that, so a lot of the public transportation, when I say it's a 1.5 hour commute, one way, it's only to the train, like it's from the train station to the next train station. It's not necessarily to the office or from my home to the train station. So it's probably more like 2 hours plus. And it's just not realistic for me to do. Um, and I'm not going to move either because a few reasons for that. Point one, we own a house. Point two, we would then move further away from my mom-in-law, which definitely wouldn't appreciate. I don't think it is even a question. Um, and my partner has a job here in the area. He has takes him 10 minutes to drive to work. Um, right? And he has a really good boss. It's actually he has an amazing boss. Like if I could have him as my employer, I would be overjoyed. He has room for flexibility. There's understanding. He just has a really good boss. Actually, there's not much more to say about that. It's just a really good boss he has. Um, so based on that, you know, then he would be the one that gets a very long commute, which is not realistic either. So yeah, no, we will move. So I need to find something that's closer. So that is what we're looking for, and hopefully something that's somewhat remote that would be fine. So it doesn't matter. Like I worked for a company in Amsterdam, which is also an hour and a half commute, but I did that for 3 years fully remote. I was twice. I've only been to the office twice in 3 years, right? And they even paid for the travel when I went to the office those times. Um, so the type of work I've been doing and the type of work that they were looking for, it is possible to do commute. It's just because they have company policies demanding you to come to the office so they can see that you're actually doing stuff. But honestly, I think if I didn't do stuff with my old employer, I would have probably not been there for 3 years. Or maybe it's just me that's being, I don't know, if I'm too demanding. Yeah, we will see. But the good thing is that from next week, I will have no further obligations to the unemployment agency, which means that it doesn't matter what I do. And then it's time to look at what's possible with a bunch of things. I have literally a lot of plans. As long as I'm also fit, like physically fit, then we have some plans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is where we do a lot of double crochets. So it's a bit funny. The sun is shining, and then there is like a 2-story, maybe 3-story apartment building complex. Like maybe it's 250, 300 meters that direction. Right now the sun is hitting those windows, so depending on how I sit, I feel it slightly ever so in my eyes. You can't really see it, but Like I feel it slightly ever so, and you can slightly see it on the back wall here. It's funny how sun can mirror in the windows. But yeah, and luckily the unemployment lady, she understood, because I was like, I've taken the opportunity. I have applied to the jobs that's far away. I've called them and said, hey, I am interested in this position. I can do this position, but do please know I need to be able to do that more or less remote, because the distance is too long. So if there's not an option to negotiate how many days a week I need to be at the office, then it's probably better for me not like to continue with the application. Um, and they've like been researching and seeing what was possible and so on. And in this case, this morning I had one where like you have to be there 3 days a week, and that's gonna be like 3 to 4 hours a day in transportation. I'm like, yeah, that's not realistic for me. It's just too much. Too much. So what we need to do here is there. Meanwhile, let's see how we have left. And I'm starting to think we might actually reach the finish of this game during this live. Wouldn't that be awesome? But then, the benefit, I guess, for you ladies, if I don't get a job, is that we can have these crafting mornings together. In my case, it's my afternoon, but we can hang out together because I have time to do so. Isn't that awesome? Let's see, and then I think it's basically, yep, this is where I do all double crochets until the next. So that is a lot of double crochets. And just because I'll pump some more energy into this doesn't mean that I'll stop applying for jobs. It just means that there's no pressure from somebody to tell me to do X applications per month. It means I can be more selective to the jobs I apply to. Um, which isn't bad either, because I am sort of picky. One more double crochet and we'll have a chain space. Oh my goodness, it's actually going pretty well with this game. I'd say. Next row, I think it's done. Which is kind of awesome. Then what I should do once it's done is just for fun measure the length of this, because I do know how long it's gonna be. But do I then think if I only miss like a quarter, then it's just one more skein, and then I have more than enough. It would be nice though, if that's the case. I can hear the neighboring dog is barking. Oh yes, we also soon have Hubby Bingo. That is true. Thank you for reminding me. It is indeed Monday Hubby Bingo for the English speakers. So I should put my app up soon. I do believe I still have it on Danish, maybe, since the Danish bingo or something like that last week. Or was it, I don't know what bingo I played last time. Maybe Swedish? I think maybe Danish. I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. Let's see, I need to have 3 double crochets into this. Ah, what is this? No, 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 no. Can you see what this is? Crikey, I hate this. It's a joint yarn knot. There's this much left of the skein. This is where I normally would cut the yarn. Because this, you can see the end so clearly, and I don't like these knots. Like, I'd rather sew it in nicely. Doesn't look nice. I hate this. It's the first time I've had this in a drop skein. But I think what we're gonna do is call this one for done, because there's so little left that I would say this yarn, what I bet I can do is actually cut this and weave in the ends. I'll probably actually make it a bit shorter here, and then add the new skein, and then use that to sew the pieces together, because I have 2 pieces I need to sew together. I have 2 pieces I need to sew together, and this is like, I don't know, it's not even 10 meters of yarn. It's probably more like 3. Let's check. Just 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's probably like 5 meters. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wind this one up and use that for sewing the pieces together, cut it off and put on the new skein. But as you ladies noticed, it's almost Hobby Bingo, and that means that because it is a Monday, but also because it is on a weekday, it's almost 5 p.m. here, does mean that I am soon having to end the stream because of how my life is scheduled. But this is annoying. No, not 2 knots close by. It's just, it's a knot. It's because I guess they were 5 meters short of being able to finish the full skein, which is like, I don't know, 6 or 7 yards at best. Okay, I'd rather, of course, have the full yardage, but I understand why it happens, but it's annoying. So the knot goes into my scrap bag for filling amigurumis. So yeah, I will did cut the yarn. The amazing amount left, which I will now use to sew the 2 pieces together. Let's measure how long it actually got while we were here, because this is, can't even see the full length, like maybe, no, that direction. It's just about fitting the screen when it's all the way back here. But let's measure how far we need to go. Can I do this with, and I think I can. It is 64. So I need another 20 plus centimeters. And we just did crochet close to 18 or so, and we did not have a full skein. So you know what? I think this skein completes this piece. Wouldn't that be awesome? So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the progress today. I am. I might do a bit later, more tonight, but that's going to be like tonight my time, and not on a live. But yeah. So on Friday I'll be here with a yarn haul from hubby because I'm not home to do the yarn talks, and Monday we'll have a summary on the yarn consumptions I had in January. On Wednesday next week, depending on things, if I am free, I will try to go live around the same time as today. So that would be around somewhere between 7 and 8 a.m. Eastern in US. So that's between 1 and 2 p.m. Central European time, if that succeeds. And then, of course, I'll be back Friday that week. So Friday next week with a new yarn talk video. And then we'll see what else is going to happen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was absolutely wonderful to spend the time with you guys. And if you haven't done it yet and you're still looking or rewatching this live, thank you for rewatching. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That really does support me. So yeah, I'm going to say happy crafting and take care until I see you again. Bye.